Okay, here we go. Tim Blake back here. Primitive Substance, Series 2. We're at Part 3. And Tim, we'll continue on with your story here. So I think we left off with uh, Hawkwind and the Magic record, and now we're into the 90s now, and you played with Hawkwind till when?
I mean, with Hawkwind, I did day one.
Right?
I did year 10. Uh, I was talking some time ago to Chris Brook, and I said, "What happened with year 20?"
Right.
And she said, "You didn't miss anything."
Man,
So,
that's funny.
and but by the time we came to the end of the 90s, there was the orchestra,
Oh, how about
which,
that?
which must have been 2000. They didn't make it to the 30th anniversary, but
Right.
uh, but it was the 30th anniversary of Hawkwind,
How
and
about that? And you were playing in
we
that,
had
right?
every, we had everybody there,
How about
and
that?
including Uncle Ian.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I,
Hawkwind didn't make much of an impression here in the U.S. as much as in Europe. It seems. Off the power here a second. Hold on a minute.
okay, yes.
Hold on. Computer problems here. Hold on. Let's see what happened.
Ah,
Okay, I'm back.
my
Sorry
cat.
about that. All right, now I'm back.
Yes,
So anyway, so I'll edit that out. So anyway, with Hawkwind, you had a big anniversary, big show, right? That everybody was at.
yes, quite
Oh,
successful,
nice.
and I rather like that kind of thing. And the next thing I knew, I was doing another big show in London with Hawkwind, but
Hmm.
and uh, and I was becoming not regular, but you know, and I'd always had a very good relationship with Lemmy.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Not a musical relationship, a friend's relationship.
Mm.
And it's quite amazing to see what such a big star he became at the
Oh, I
end of his
know.
life.
Oh, yeah.
And uh, he was around at that time,
Oh, okay.
and that's the only time we ever played together, I think.
How about
Although
that?
this business of playing
You,
lead guitar,
oh, okay.
with that piece
Oh,
of
yeah.
equipment,
I know that great piece of
uh,
equipment. I
well, what happened was, this is quite a good story. We
sure.
were
Go ahead.
rehearsing for the hawk. We were rehearsing for the orchestra,
Right.
and Dave's a very rehearsal-based musician. Richard too. The original members of Hawkwind, not at all. So
Oh,
we found ourselves in a rehearsal studio in London, and everyone arrived, and they all went off to the pub to say, "Hello, how have you been after all these years?" kind of
how
thing.
about that?
And and there we were, slugging it out with Dave and Richard and Lemmy and myself.
How about
And
that?
I've got a photo of this somewhere. So I'm hidden behind Lemmy, right? And no lead guitarist.
Hmm.
And we were rehearsing something like Masters of the Universe, right?
Right.
Which is classic Hawkwind repertoire from back in the day and Lemmy time.
Huh.
And we get to the end of the first verse. It's the world gone mad, or is it me? Dum,
Right.
dum, dum. And Lemmy does the 8 by the bass, which brings back the riff. No lead guitars. No, I didn't have that with me. I didn't have the axe with me, but I had the sounds I used on it with me. So I said, well, fuck this. If no one's going to play the lead guitar, I just better fill in. And so I played burning guitar solo into, which isn't my role at all, into Masters of the Universe. And we got back into singing and then out, you know.
Now, where did this take place at? A big, what was it? Where did the show take place? This reunion, was it in England?
Oh yeah, where was it? Brixton.
Oh, okay.
Brixton Academy now was. It used to be one of those fabulous cinemas a la Turc.
Oh, okay.
Turkish-style cinemas, which were built kind of 1920s.
Oh, that must have been fantastic. Oh.
Which were theatres and cinemas and great, you know. You've got one in Brixton, you've got one in Finsbury Park.
Okay.
You've got one in Paris, and there used to be one in Bordeaux, which is near where I live. And they're great theatres to play in, you know. And so we're doing this, and we're rehearsing. And Lemmy's looking.
Where's that coming from?
And he turns around and he said, "That was you, wasn't it, Tim?" Like, was I going to get told off, you know? And I said, well, sometimes someone has to do it, you know.
Right.
And he said, yeah, fucking keyboards. I hate keyboards. But it's the first time I'd seen Lemmy surprised.
How about that?
And next thing I know, I was playing a festival in England. And Dave comes up and says, look, you always wanted to be guitarist of Hawkwind when you were 17. Why not? And I've really enjoyed playing with Hawkwind again, you know, these past, well, I've done it full time from 2007 till a few years, you know, 12 years, you know. I really enjoyed it. It really was. It's not a good trip when you live in France to go and play with an English band. But
I'm sure.
Yeah, I did. You know, Dave and I are friends. I will do this for Dave, you know. Right, he's got a very good band now. And they're not leaning on computing as much as they used to. And that sounds very good. I would have liked to have been there on Saturday, but you know, I think I would have been hard to manage if I had been there because of this support band who have stolen my name.
I don't think they had a big support in the U.S. though, Hawkwind, as much as in Europe back in the day. I mean, it was a cult following, but I think in America, we were more interested into the Gentle Giants, the Genesis, at that time, the prog stuff, ELP.
I don't think Hawkwind is progressive music at all. It's just rock.
But you're right.
You know, it's psychedelic hard rock.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
Yeah.
It is.
And I happen to like psychedelic hard rock, so, you know. But
now, is there any chance you're
Gong may have been. I mean, there's a definition of progressive music.
Right.
And one of them is composed tempo. Hawkwind, I think there's one song in 6/8, otherwise it's 4/4. You know,
Oh, okay. That's true.
you know,
Didn't think about
on
that.
the other
Right.
hand, if you're listening to Gong, you, a sprinkling of clouds, you've got the
Yeah.
riff
Right,
going
right.
on, right? Well, that, if you want to write it down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
3 bars of 5, 1 bar of 3, and 1 bar of 6.
Hmm. How about that? Well,
That's progressive music. That's part of the
right.
definition. And
Were,
that,
were there bands you were following back then, like progressive bands, like that I mentioned, Gentle Giant, Genesis? Were you into those bands at that time? No.
I've become a very great fan of Peter's,
Okay.
which is funny because I had him as supporter at Glastonbury,
Okay.
and already I was going, you know, during that show, and
Right.
everything I've seen and heard since is magistral. You know,
No. Sure.
he's one of the few really good artists.
Yeah.
And he's done everything he should, including the New Blood Orchestra thing. You know, but
Oh, yeah.
Hawkwind have done orchestral Hawkwind too.
Right. Right.
No, it's brilliant. He's brilliant. But when I was playing in Gong, for instance, I got quite into Mahavishnu.
Oh, what an incredible band they were.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I understood what was going on with Billy Cobham's drumming in Mahavishnu, and that
Oh, Billy
absolutely
Cobham, he was
appealed
a
to me.
beast. What a beast. I mean, what?
Yeah,
Those
but
rolls he
remember,
played? Oh,
I was working with an even beastier beast at the
who's
time
that?
because of all the drummers I've played with,
Right.
and right, there's a huge number of Gong drummers,
Raw, no.
including Pip Pyle, who had a
Oh, I
reputation as
love Pit
being
Pile.
hot.
He was great.
I hate him. I detest playing with Pip. He detested playing with me, actually, so it's quite neutral. But now it's not. There's no beat. It's all cymbals, rubbish. Bill Bruford, very good. Ginger,
Right.
the best rock drummer ever. But
Right.
Brian Davidson from The Nice, no. Pierre Mona, yes.
Oh, he's incredible. Yeah, he's underrated. He never got the respect. He's one of the top. I mean, some of the things he was playing.
Right,
on
he was
drums,
the top.
He was.
He was the top. I mean, unfortunately, he's dead. But
I know.
it seems I was the last person to speak to him, which is very strange. But for me, Pierre is the drummer because he's the only person who approached the drum kit like a pianist approaches the piano. He was a classical musician.
How about that? Right.
And
That's right.
every time he got pissed off with David, which was regularly, he would go away and play classical or contemporary music, because he liked that too.
Yeah. Well,
No.
I think he played with Mike Oldfield too. I think he was on a.
Oh yes.
I mean, he was top of the line. It had to be at
Well,
that time.
for a start, Pierre Mona is the only person any of us know who can actually play the tubular bells.
Right. Plus, read music too. I mean, he was able to read music too. I mean, there was no.
Oh yes, I liked it. Yeah, I know. Very good. And all the tuned percussion as well as the non-tuned percussion. Yeah.
Right.
No, but we were talking drummers, but for me, he's the one. You know,
Now I want to show you a record here. Do you know this record?
no,
It's
Larry Fast.
There you go.
Larry Fast.
I had a chance
Don't know the record.
I had a chance to interview Larry Fast, and I think this
Yes.
is a fantastic record. This is his first record. He played with Peter from I think '77 all the way until right before the Soul record, I believe, and then somebody else took over. But he's a fascinating guy.
Somebody else is Manu Katché, sire. That's not somebody else. No, on keyboards, you mean? Sorry, well, I'm in the drummers. Didn't he come from Arm Butterfly or some
I don't think he
iconic group?
He grew up in New Jersey, like where I am, and he started like at Bell Labs, and he was creating modular synthesizers, and quite a creative guy. Oh, Nectar. He worked with Nectar. Do you remember that
Right,
band?
yeah. I know. I've met Larry France. We used to converse over MySpace, but I've never heard his music.
Okay, but that record's really like one of the best I've heard of his, and so, but I didn't know if you heard of him at all. But you mentioned Peter.
Well,
there.
yeah, the man, not the music. You know.
Right. So then,
Who else do I know? Who was an American synth player? Well, Roger Powell, who was with
oh yeah, Utopia.
with
He played with,
Utopia. Yes,
Todd
yeah.
Rundgren.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he was quite incredible.
And John Phillip, who was a very great Utopia fan.
Okay.
When we were in Japan, and we took a rehearsal studio for 2 days to set up our equipment and the higher equipment to go out together. And who was in the room next door? Todd Rundgren. So
oh my gosh, that's something.
John Phillip, who was very young in that, he was 16.
Right.
And he says, 1 minute, that's Utopia next door.
Nice.
I said, well, let's go and have a look, you know. And so I was able to. I know Steve is a friend of Tom, so I only met him that once. But
the Japanese are they know so much music. You know, they study it. They know if they're a fan of yours, they're somebody. They have it down. Every song, every record, every riff you've ever played. They're amazing.
I've been to Japan 3 times.
Right.
It's the only place where I'll say yes before talking fees.
How about that?
Because and
I loved it there.
I
went
mean,
once.
the art form I practice most is cooking. And
okay, you're a chef, huh?
well, we were eating sushi here last night. Yeah.
Okay, how about that? So I wanted to ask you also before we go about the theremin. You play that extraordinarily well. The theremin.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Come on.
No, I don't.
I've seen you play it. Not extraordinary, but I've seen you play it. You play it
but,
good, really good.
You listen to someone like Doric Chrysler or Coralie Engeler. These people play really good theremin. I don't.
Yeah, but the way you incorporate it with your sound, that's what makes it.
Yeah,
so
well,
good.
you see, what I've done, I've midified it.
Okay.
So if I want to play in tune, I'm actually playing a synth with it.
Okay.
And if I don't want to play in tune, the only thing I don't understand about the theremin is why the fuck didn't I get one when I was 16 and learn to play? You know, because
it's a crazy instrument.
You know, oh, it is. I mean, but was it really an instrument?
No, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, it was used for so many soundtracks, the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah. All of that we know. But you've got to look at the life of Serge Leon Theremin.
Right.
I reckon he was sent to New York to spy on Tesla.
Okay.
Because he was a spy, and he invented the theremin because he was working on proximity sensors to know when people were going where they weren't supposed to be.
Okay.
And working for Russian intelligence. And I think Stalin sent him out there to spy on Tesla. And
No one doubt it.
because he was probably the only guy who could understand what Tesla was on about. And he really got involved in music in New York.
Yep.
And so they pulled him out.
Hmm.
He was kidnapped by the Russians, taken back to Russia, did 36 years of gulag.
Wow, didn't know that.
And came out an old broken man with perestroika and died shortly afterwards.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but
Too bad.
no, I don't know why I didn't get one before.
Yeah, well.
And I'm very proud. My theremin, which is over there, is a big Briar theremin, and it was made by Bob himself.
How about that? Actual Bob Moog,
Yeah.
huh? Wow.
Yeah, it's an antique one. It's not a Moog theremin. It's an antique theremin made by Bob because he had sold Moog
I know.
to Norlin, I think.
I know.
And he wasn't allowed to be Moog or build synthesizers, so he went back to theremins, which have been his first love.
Now, you think the quality of Moog's going to change now with new ownership, or you think they're going to still, keep all the right people in place?
What Moog? That's all.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yep.
The little plastic keyboards? Everyone makes them. No, but they rebuilt a couple of Moog modulars. They want to send me one, I'll play it,
Yeah. But you can't beat the quality out of those machines. I mean,
the Mini Moog and the Moog modular were fabulous instruments.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous instruments. Yeah.
Great sounding instrument. I saw you used a Mini Moog, didn't you, in the 70s?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, well,
that's why it sounds so
New
good.
Jerusalem is full of it,
Oh, it sounded great. So what are you working on currently, Tim? Are you doing any music these days, or are you planning on anything, or just sitting back and watching the world go round?
Well, look. We haven't finished yet.
Right.
You're going to have to ask me that question later.
Keep going.
Because we were with orchestra.
Right. That's right. We're right there.
Like it's 2000 or something now.
Right.
From
do you want to
about 95 onwards?
Okay.
I was writing a record called Crystal Island. And I'd done a lot of this in MIDI. Yeah, it was okay. Then we got audio onto computers.
Right.
Now, this took a lot of learning. Tide of the Century took me about 5 years to make. I thought this is classic Tim Blake situation. I thought I was making a record called Crystal Island. And there's a piece of rap on a night while you lie sleeping there, laying in your bed. I come to take your hand. And I thought this was the main thing. And I have a brother who's in the legal profession.
Okay.
and therefore very cynical humour. And he phones me up one and he says, I suppose you're making your millennial record now.
Hmm.
And just after that conversation, the line, the tide of the centuries is coming, she'll be
How about
washing
that?
away the past, hit me. And so back to the drawing board
Oh,
and you know, and now it's a terrible, terrible, terrible business making solo albums.
I'm sure.
And I have refused a number of concerts this year because I don't want to play solo. If you want to hear Crystal Machine music, like the Tide of the Century, for instance, well, I'll play with John Philip, please, or not at all. Okay? I do enjoy that duo very much. And I like playing with my friends who are rock musicians too.
Okay.
You know, but this reintegrating Hawkwind and having done the 30th year with Hawkwind, then the 40th year with Hawkwind. Hey, yeah. Which is 40 years of Hawkwind was 2009, okay? And in 2019, I found myself on stage with Dave at the Royal Albert Hall, where my mum used to take me to see classical concerts.
How about that?
And when I walked off, I said,
that's,
this is strange. What a good place to stop.
yeah, that's true. Can't get higher than that. That's the pinnacle.
Well, they went back actually.
Oh, well. Yeah, but for you anyway, for you that's a landmark,
But
right?
and I came back to France, and I haven't really been attentive to the music business at all. You know, I filed to touch my pension and
There you go, right?
become an old man. You know, and
well, but you've
I
got.
spend my life cutting grass and shoveling horse manure. You know?
Oh, that's funny. But you got
And
a
cooking.
legacy, Tim. You got a great legacy, and I'm so glad I've been able to talk to you.
I would go back to Japan, as I said before. I would go back to Japan immediately simply because I love Japan and I like playing with Japanese audience.
Oh, they're great there. I
Because they're
love
such
Japan.
an audience.
It's such a unique place. I mean, everything's so foreign. It's especially if you're from America or England, wherever in Europe. It's such a fascinating place. Tokyo is so unusual. You know, so many. Everything's so different.
Well,
But
when
the
I
people
was
are so nice.
when I was 19, I mean, let me get this right. No, when I was 20. Yes, when I was 20, I toured Japan for 6 weeks as a musician in another band, and all I ever wanted to do is to get back there. I've been there with this other band. I've been there as Timberlake Crystal Machine, and I was there with Hawkwind about 11 years ago. So
Right.
you know, no, Japanese are my. They're also my best market.
Yeah, how about that?
They're also the people who buy most Timberlake music. You
How
know,
about that?
that's,
So where can we find your music these days? On your website, or where can we buy Tim Blake music now?
well, Cherry Red sell all sorts of. They sell all
Okay.
my CDs.
Might as well.
They're at their second box set now.
How about that?
Okay, this
Okay.
one worked, and now that they're at this one now,
Okay. Oh,
which
nice.
is Well, I like the photo on the cover because you can see Patrice behind me fiddling with the lasers.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Great.
Uh, and uh,
So what do we go to your
there's
website
still
or?
there's still another box set they could do if they wanted to.
Okay.
They could release my first ever cassette offering as a record, which I would have done if I was them already.
Oh, okay.
There's bits of it on the anthology, but
Okay.
only bits. But
I'll put
it
that
would
in
have
the
been nice.
I'll put that in the description. What record label is it? What label is it under? What's the
Um,
record label? Is it
well, Cherry Red
Del?
Records, Esoteric.
Okay. Esoteric. Okay.
That's their label for people like
Okay.
me.
All right. Yeah.
And
So
Esoteric. And
so I'll let.
I mean, I am writing music at the moment,
Okay.
but I'm not necessarily enjoying what I'm doing. So,
Well.
but then everything started off with hundreds of bits and bobs, doesn't it?
Right.
And then perhaps one day
Well.
I'll start sticking them together again. I would be
Well.
very happy to make
Well.
another album.
When you
But
have some new music,
I
we'll
mean,
come back and talk.
well, there's something Peter did, which is scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
There you
And I
go.
thought that was marvelous. I thought
How
that
about
was a
that?
marvelous idea.
That is.
I would like to record as a singer
Hmm.
some standards,
Right. Oh, about
other
that.
people's songs, but
Right.
I don't want to play it and I don't want to produce it.
Right.
Uh, if someone asks me to produce a record, I would probably say yes.
Okay.
If it's not here, if we go somewhere to do it, I'll probably say yes,
Okay.
because that's where I started out. And
Right. Okay.
uh,
Well.
and will I play as a guest with Hawkwind again, quite possibly, and will I perform with the bands? It depends. Depends what.
Right.
I'm an old man.
Yeah.
I'm one of the younger, but everyone else is dead.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Steve's still alive. He's playing a lot.
That's true. Well, he's got big
Mike's
money.
alive. He doesn't seem to play much.
No. I know it's something. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure, and I'm
Well, I
thankful for
think you've
doing
got
this.
what you need now. Yes.
Oh,
Huh?
absolutely. You're a great guy.
And
Loved your music. I've always been a fan ever since I got this record, publicizing it again. It's a great record. Anybody out there want to
well,
listen to it?
you've got 1 minute. Let me. Oh, you have an
Which one?
original copy there.
Oh yeah,
You have
I
an
have
original.
original copies.
Yes, you have an. Yes, I could
It's
see.
true.
I could see. He's got the
Original copies of this
egg.
too. I
Oh,
had
yeah,
these
yeah.
records in 1980. I think I bought them in '79, and it spurred me on to do more with synthesizers, and
But
he's been a big influence.
there's something I would like to say.
Sure.
When I look at accounts, you ask me where do you get this music now? Okay.
Right.
When I look at accounts, you know who the biggest payer is? Spotify.
Right. Yep.
Now, all the time I'm hearing musicians saying, yeah, Spotify, they rip us off. No, their record company rips them off.
Of course.
Record companies should stay to making records, and us artists, we can use an aggregator to be digital.
Right. I agree.
But be it publishing accounts on Gong, publishing accounts on me. I still own a Gong record, which I sell online.
Okay.
And I've got one track of Tim Blake. There will be more in the
Oh,
future.
okay.
And when I look at the accounts, the biggest, obviously when you make a box set like that,
Wow.
which sells for $200,
Right, right.
there's a few checks, but not really in proportion to the work. The digital world is best. But if artists give
Right.
80% of their money to a record company,
Right.
and I'm saying 80%, in the case of Gong, it was 88%. If artists give all their money to record
Right.
companies, well, when you're getting paid $0.001 per listen,
You're right.
well, you can't give away 82%
No,
to somebody else.
No.
It's all it is. If it's you, you'll get paid for it. You'll
Right.
get your $0.001, not to sell a record, just for someone to listen to it.
Right.
Oh, now
And that's a lot. And that's a lot of money to put a box set like that together. That's not cheap. That's why they're charging so much. I guess they have a big fan base that loves
13
Gong.
CDs.
Wow.
13 CDs in it.
How about that? Wow. Robert Fripp does that a lot with his releases. King Crimson. He's got all these box sets.
Robert Fripp has been around.
Oh yeah. Still playing.
He's probably learned, what is really good, as I said earlier, is to see these young people
Right.
getting out of the music business straight away and
Right.
becoming. Today, you don't need a record company.
Right. You're right.
Make a big catalogue, sell it numerically,
Yeah.
and then, if you have a success, when you're wanting to retire, the record companies come along to buy it from you.
That's right. That's exactly
Because
right.
that's what they do. They collect.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep. Is what it is. Well, I'll let you go
But,
here so you can
you know-
eat dinner. I'll let you go.
well, good, but never give 88% of
No.
your money to a record company.
No, I agree. I agree. Put it out yourself or on digitally or whatever you can.
Well, digitally, records are great. I love vinyl,
Right.
but you can have time to do vinyl when you've sold 1 billion hits on YouTube.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. It's hard. I mean, I'm hoping to get 1,000 subscribers, and that takes a while. You have to keep building the channel up. It just doesn't happen automatically. So it is what it is. Well, Tim, I want to thank you again for coming on. Please stay in touch. And to the super moon, blue moon day, thanks again.
Well, yes, as we speak,
Yes.
the sun is coming down now,
Right.
right? Because it's 8:45, and I think the moon comes up at about 9:30 this
There you
evening.
go. Perfect day to do this.
So
right?
we're going to read
Thank you.
and admire the full moon.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Tim. Thank you.
You
again.
know how we say this?
How's that?
Oh, the moon is full tonight. Can't you
Yes.
see it shining bright?
I'm gonna check
This
it out.
vessel takes us off to Crystal Island.
There you go.
Check it
I
out.
like that. Good way to end the show. Anyway, thank you again. And have a
Peace
great
and
night.
love.
It's been thanks.
Yay.
Peace. Take care now. Thank you, Tim. Bye-bye.